The Undersea Creature Island, the 12th of May 1989, the underwater world, often hidden from human eyes, waited silently, holding its own story. On the 12th of May 1989, an international diving team embarked on a journey into an unexplored region of the Pacific Ocean. The surface waters were calm, almost inviting, but beneath them lay a realm both alien and dangerous, a realm no human had ever witnessed. The diving vessel began its slow descent. As the team sank deeper, sunlight faded, leaving the water a deep, endless blue. Tiny particles and plankton shimmered in the divers' lights, creating patterns that looked like 1,000 tiny stars scattered across a dark, liquid sky. Every movement stirred small bubbles that floated lazily toward the surface, reflecting the dim beams of the helmet lights. The first major discovery came from sonar scans. A strange island-shaped plateau appeared on the screen, resting silently on the ocean floor. Its flat geometric shape seemed unnatural, unlike any natural reef the team had ever seen. The lead diver whispered, almost to himself, This could be a remnant of an ancient civilization. Something isn't right." As the divers approached, the immense pressure and density of the water became tangible. Each movement was met with gentle resistance, and the ocean currents pushed and pulled at their suits. The cameras captured the plateau's outer walls, perfectly smooth, almost polished, with barely a mark of erosion. It was as if the ocean itself had carefully preserved this mysterious structure for centuries. Then came the first hint of life or something resembling life. Shadows flickered within the tunnels of the plateau, subtle and fleeting. They weren't the shapes of fish or known sea creatures. Something far larger, moving with deliberate purpose, passed just beyond the light of the divers' beams. A strange vibration rippled through the water, and the divers paused. It wasn't mechanical. It was organic, yet impossible to identify. The water seemed to pulse, alive with the presence of something ancient and unseen. The team exchanged tense glances, their training battling their instinctive fear. One diver murmured into the radio, I think it's watching us." As the team cautiously ventured closer, the plateau revealed its most mysterious feature. A series of deep, narrow tunnels that seemed to extend endlessly into the ocean's darkness. Every beam of light revealed glimpses of movement long, sleek shapes that slipped just out of view, leaving only ripples in the water. The divers realized this was no ordinary underwater formation. Whatever inhabited this hidden island was intelligent, patient, and aware of their presence. The ocean, usually so familiar to them, had transformed into an alien world, full of secrets and silent watchers. They documented everything, knowing that once they ascended, the surface world would never believe what they had seen. Every moment beneath the waves added to the growing sense of unease. The plateau, the shadows, the vibrations, it was all pointing towards something extraordinary, something the ocean had hidden for millennia. The first part of their descent ended with a silent acknowledgement. This mission was no longer about exploration alone. It was about survival and discovery of a kind humanity had never imagined. The divers hesitated at the entrance to the plateau's tunnels. Water here was colder, denser, as if the ocean itself was warning them to turn back. Their lights pierced the darkness, revealing jagged walls, covered in strange, bioluminescent patterns that pulsed faintly like the heartbeat of the underwater world itself. Every flicker seemed alive, responding to their presence. Slowly they moved forward. The tunnel narrowed, forcing the divers to swim single file. The sound of rushing water was replaced by the muffled clicks and groans of the structure, as though the plateau was settling around them. Suddenly, a shadow darted across one of the walls, long, sinuous, and impossibly fast. It vanished before any of them could focus on it. One diver's camera caught a glimpse of something massive, with elongated limbs and glimmering eyes, retreating into a deeper passage. The movement wasn't random. It was deliberate, calculated. The divers realized they were not alone and they were being observed. A low vibration began underfoot, traveling through the hull of the submarine support craft above. The team paused, holding their breath. The water itself seemed to shiver in response to some hidden presence. The plateau's tunnels were not just empty spaces, they were corridors and an alien habitat, home to creatures unlike anything ever catalogued. As they ventured further, strange shapes emerged in the murky water. Tentacle-like appendages brushed past the walls, disappearing as quickly as they appeared. The bioluminescence intensified, illuminating massive skeletal remains embedded in the rock floor. remnants of creatures that had died centuries ago or had been prey to whatever now haunted the plateau. A diver reached out, hesitating before touching one of the glowing patterns. Instantly, the water rippled violently. A colossal shadow surged past the group, creating a current that knocked their formation slightly off balance. The diver's light caught the outline of an enormous, serpentine body coiling around the tunnel. Its eyes reflected the beams like polished gemstones, staring directly into their helmets. Panic mingled with awe. Nobody spoke. Words were useless underwater. Every movement was deliberate, every breath controlled, as the divers tried to understand what they had stumbled upon. It wasn't just an island. It was a living fortress, an ecosystem dominated by creatures far beyond human comprehension. They swam cautiously toward a larger chamber deeper in the plateau. Here, the water opened into a vast cavern, ceiling lost in darkness. Strange coral formations stretched upward like towers, and bubbles rose from unseen vents in the rocks, creating shimmering curtains in the light. And there, in the middle of the chamber, they saw a creature unlike any recorded species. It was massive, its body translucent with hints of glowing blue veins, moving gracefully but with terrifying strength. Its appendages seemed flexible yet precise, manipulating the environment as if it understood the diver's presence. It paused, regarding them with an intelligence that sent chills down every spine. One diver whispered into the mic, barely audible over the helmet comes. "It's watching, studying us." The team realized the creature was not hostile. At least, not yet. It was curious, but in a way that reminded them of predators evaluating prey. Every movement, every pulse of bioluminescent light indicated awareness, strategy, and perhaps memory. Minutes stretched into hours as the divers observed, documenting every movement. The cavern seemed to hum with life, an orchestra of currents, shadows, and glowing forms. The deeper they went, the more they understood that the Undersea Creature Island was a sanctuary, perfectly adapted for beings humanity had never imagined. As their oxygen began to run low, the team reluctantly prepared to ascend. Yet, every diver knew this mission had changed everything they understood about the ocean. The plateau, the tunnels, and its elusive inhabitants were now part of a hidden world, one that humankind had never been allowed to see. The ascent was tense. Every shadow felt like it could reach out, every current a subtle warning. And though the divers returned to the surface, their minds and cameras carried the undeniable truth. Some mysteries of the ocean were meant to remain partly hidden, revealed only to those brave or foolish enough to venture into the abyss. As the divers hesitated near the cavern exit, a low, resonating hum began to echo through the water. It wasn't mechanical, no engine or sonar could create such a sound. It pulsed from deep within the plateau, vibrating through the divers' suits, through their very bones. The creatures had reacted. The hum seemed to communicate a warning, a boundary that humans were not meant to cross. Despite the instinct to retreat, the lead diver signaled to move forward. The largest chamber of the plateau lay ahead, a space so vast it seemed like a sunken cathedral. Columns of bioluminescent coral arched like Gothic spires, and the water shimmered with an unearthly glow. Shadows danced on the walls, elongating and twisting as the divers' lights cut through the darkness. Then, in the center of the chamber, they saw it, the alpha creature. Far larger than any of the earlier glimpses, it floated with deliberate grace, its translucent body radiating soft blue light. Tentacle-like appendages extended in slow, mesmerizing patterns, each movement precise, almost ritualistic. Its eyes glowing and intelligent locked onto the divers. There was no fear in its gaze, only awareness. One diver whispered into his microphone, voice trembling, "It's observing. It knows we're here." The creature moved closer, not aggressively, but with undeniable presence. Around it, smaller beings emerged from the tunnel shapes they had glimpsed before, coordinating movements like a silent ballet. The plateau itself seemed alive, a network of corridors and chambers perfectly synchronized with the life it contained. Every pulse of bioluminescence, every ripple in the water, was a signal, a language the divers could not understand. Suddenly, one of the divers noticed an ancient artifact partially embedded in the rocky floor, a carved stone tablet, covered in algae, but etched with symbols reminiscent of ancient maritime cultures. Could this plateau have once been inhabited, or was it always a sanctuary for creatures beyond human understanding? The alpha creature drifted toward the artifact, its tentacle brushing gently against the symbols. The water shimmered brighter for a moment, as if acknowledging a connection between the creature and the ancient markings. The divers froze, realizing they were witnessing something beyond explanation, a link between lost civilizations and deep-sea lifeforms, preserved in the abyss for millennia. Time seemed suspended. Every diver held their breath, aware that this moment was unique in human history. They recorded every frame, every movement, knowing that the surface world would struggle to comprehend what they had seen. As oxygen levels dwindled, the lead diver signaled retreat. Slowly, they began ascending through the tunnels, the alpha creature and its companions retreating back into the shadows. The plateau seemed to absorb them, hiding its secrets once more. Shadows merged with darkness, lights flickered and faded, leaving only the memory of something extraordinary beneath the waves. Upon surfacing, the divers gazed back at the endless blue horizon, a sense of awe and reverence washing over them. The world above seemed ordinary, but they knew the ocean held truths far stranger than anyone could imagine. The Undersea Creature Island remained hidden, alive with mysteries, waiting for the next explorers brave enough or foolish enough to venture into the depths. And somewhere, deep below, the alpha creature watched, guarding its world, its history, and its secrets, an eternal sentinel of the sunken realm.